This is the Self-Aware Leader Podcast. Now your host, Jason Rigby.
We are going to talk about Kaizen today. Kaizen. Don't know if you've heard about this or not. We're going to talk about how to adopt this, not just in your life, but how to adopt this as a culture and a practice. And we're going to look at it from a leadership perspective too, and how to adopt this in your work life, in your business. We know that businesses nowadays, more than ever, and especially in this super fast-paced, constantly changing world, we have to be two things: agile and adaptable. Now, whether you're this way with your personal life, and we're seeing this, how many people are moving from one state to the next state, getting another job, and then, packing up everything and going. Where before, you bought a house, you stayed there for 30 years and that was it. But everything is more flexible now. Now you have, like I'm able to do is I travel a lot and I'm able to work from my laptop. I make money from my laptop. And I'll get into how I do that and all those different things. I know there's a ton of courses online for that. But Kaizen is a Japanese term that means continuous improvement. And it's a philosophy that a business culture has over there in Japan. And I want to get into understanding how to adopt this culture and then the actual practice of Kaizen. And so it's a philosophy that focuses on making small, incremental changes that eventually, over time, like compound interest, lead to big results. Now, what are the benefits to doing this? Well, two things that we always want when it comes to our life and our business, and that is efficiency and productivity. Now, we want to have efficiency where we're not burning out. We want to have efficiency where we have happy employees. We don't want them, sitting at the machine working, 20 hours a day and then going in the back room and taking a 4-hour nap and doing that 7 days a week. That's called slavery, right? And we know that, unfortunately, there's a lot of that around the world. The United States used to have that back in the day, and we've progressed quite a bit. We still have issues with it. I just saw, I think it was on Vice or The Economist on YouTube about child labor, problems with child labor here in the United States, which is horrific. But at the end of the day, but I'm not opposed. I love kids that work, but what they were doing was absolutely horrific. I think every child should begin working as soon as they're able to pick something up. Give them a purpose, give them chores, give them responsibility, and give them a reward for doing those things and make it consistent. A 4-year-old can have a chore list, can be told what to do. A 5-year-old can consistently pick up their room every single day, pick up all their toys that they played with, and make their bed. They can brush their teeth. There's lots of different things that you can do by having a chore chart and then making it big, a big reward. Don't go to McDonald's when you're tired and don't want to take that and make that a reward. Make getting ice cream or going to the movies. Base the rewards, and I'm not going to have a parenting podcast here, but I think this is for a lot of things. Base your rewards off of great character. So when they distribute great character, not off of the results. Oh, wow, you were disciplined. Do you know what discipline means? Like cleaning your room and brushing your teeth, and you're really, really disciplined. I think we should reward your discipline and go to McDonald's. You were very ethical. You know what that means? You can explain these words to children. They understand. They're smarter than you think. Oh, wow, you didn't play on your phone for hours, and you didn't beg me or whine about it and be selfish. Have them understand spiritual principles. So important. Children can understand those at a very young age. They need a purpose. They need to work. They need to have physical exercise. They need to work. And then at nighttime, they should be absolutely exhausted where they just fall asleep on their own. Then you've done an amazing job. So let's get into this adopting a culture of Kaizen. We want efficiency. We want productivity. And we're always looking, we're chasing that dragon of improving processes, trying to save time, trying to save money, but then there's a fine line. We don't want to cut, I had a business owner talk to me that he's like, Jason, I want to cut advertising and marketing, but it's like they always say we don't know which part to cut because we don't want to cut our nose off to spite our face, right? So save time, money, and then quality control. How do you improve that? How do you identify and fix problems early so that you don't have to worry about the costly mistakes that will be made because someone didn't catch it? So that's quality control. And I think the biggest benefit of Kaizen is that it can help businesses create a culture of continuous learning and improvement. And I'm always talking about this learning mindset that we should have. We're always learning. We get excited and pumped up when somebody learns something new. You as a leader, you need to always be pushing this out there with humility. Like, man, I just learned something new, guys, in a meeting. Always say that. Start off with, you know what I learned new this week? I just learned something new. These words as a leader are so important. Staying positive, having the ability to be able to be transparent and say, yes, I have continuous learning. You know what I'm learning to improve in? Share those things. Even if it's personal, share them. I mean, don't go too personal. Some things should be left. I think I see a lot of leaders do this. They talk about, they use the people that they work with kind of as like a sounding board for the issues and problems that they have. And being close and being a friend is awesome. But being a leader, you should have a mentor or somebody that you respect and then that has wisdom to share that information with. And whether you have to hire a coach or whatever you have to do, that should be that, not because because it's a narcissistic leader. Once again, we always have a tendency to make it about us in leadership because our ego loves to use leadership as an excuse for us to walk around. You can see these super ego leaders where everything's all about them. They want everybody to see the way they dress. They want everybody to see the watch that they have. They want everybody to see the car that they have. All they do is talk about themselves and, how successful they are. Just constant narcissism. And those are the leaders I run from, unless they're willing to have humility, which most of them don't because they're just so full of themselves. And we've all seen that. It's disgusting after a while. At first, some people find it intriguing. But then after a while, you get to know the person. You're like, you have no soul. You don't care about anyone, do you? So when you have this culture of continuous learning and improvement and underline with humility, because it takes humility to have a continuous learning mindset. And when employees are encouraged to think critically and come up with new ideas, it leads to a more innovative and dynamic workplace. So if you're thinking about adopting a culture of Kaizen, I want to give you a few things to help you get started in that. First, and these are going to seem kind of generic, but I'll explain them as I go. And I talk about this all the time, guys, and I'm getting this in your head. I hope if you listen to my podcast over and over again, you're going to hear this because I got to say this like 20 times for you to see how important this is. Number one, you need to create a vision for what the business is about, for who you are as a leader. What does that look like? What do you want your teams and your employees? Maybe you have one employee. Maybe you have 1,000 employees. What do you want them to achieve? Is it a clear vision? Is the vision been said 100 times? Do you always talk about vision every single day? Is the vision super huge in your office? You can buy letters and put them up. You can stencil them with some paint on a board. There's so many things that you can do. You can buy a big banner online, like a 12-foot banner or a 20-foot banner. The bigger, the better. And you put it out there for the quarter, for 6 months, for a year, whatever that vision is. People need to see the vision every single day. And you need to bring it up. Have your meetings next to the banner. Talk about the vision. Tell how people have achieved things that have led towards the vision. When you talk about improvements, just like with children, I said before, reward people on character, reward people on taking care of people, customers and clients. Reward people on fulfilling the vision. What is your vision statement for the quarter, for 6 months, for a year? What is that? Because you cannot have goals. You cannot have clarity in business if you don't have a vision. If you don't have a vision for yourself personally, What's your vision mentally? What's your vision physically? What's your vision emotionally? What's your vision spiritually? You've got to have a vision, guys. One of my favorite verses in the Bible is in Proverbs, where the wisdom's at in the Bible. It says, without a vision, the people perish. Without a vision, the people perish. We want to be inspired. We want to have hope. And politics is not going to give us that, Republican or Democrat. It's just failed lies. Why don't you be the genuine person? If you're genuine and transparent and loving and have a vision, people will follow you to their death. That is something that is so attractive when a leader leads properly. It is so amazing when you have a clear vision, because you can start to identify areas where you can have a continual learning and a continual improvement in everything that you do. Next, communicate your vision to your employees. Explain to them why it's so important, how it benefits them, how it makes them the hero, how it makes the business the hero, not you the hero. Take somebody on the hero's journey. If you haven't studied the hero's journey, look it up. All movies are made off the hero's journey. Star Wars, hero's journey down to a T. That's how they do it. They run the hero's journey map. Make your clients the hero. Make your customers the hero. Make your employees the hero. It's not about you. Once your employees understand the vision, they will get on board with the program, I guarantee you. It also is a filter. If people aren't getting on board with the vision, get rid of them. Hire new people and share the vision with them. It's that simple. Don't be attached to a relationship that's toxic. I just did a couple episodes ago, I just talked about toxic people and how to get rid of them and how to get new people in your life. Finally, you need to provide your employees with the tools and resources they need to make improvements. What training do they need? You should be training weekly. If you don't have the time to train, which you should have the time, because you should be training and coaching your leaders, your team leaders have to do training every single week. You should have a training system and a training program in place. You want to see how important training is? Look at police officers. It is unfair what we do to them by making them work tons of hours with no training. In the military, training. And then when the situation arises, you have situational awareness enough. And I love the quote, you will fall back when shit hits the fan, you will fall back to your lowest level of training. And that is so true, guys. We have to train. Have others training. Do training classes and mix who's going to train for that day. It doesn't have to be long. It could be 20 minutes. You can have 20 minutes of training. Don't make it boring. What should I train about? Train about decentralized leadership. Train about each of you taking turns in being a team leader. Train about leadership. Train about being a team player. Train on what it looks like fulfilling the vision. How about you ask them? Hey, here's the vision. Here's what's going to happen. Here's where we're going as a company. What I want to know from you, team leaders, I got 6 team leaders sitting in my office. What I want to know from you, team leaders, each and every one of you, we're going to brainstorm right now. There's nothing wrong that you can say. Everything's perfect. We're going to get it out there. I want from you guys how we can fulfill the vision on our teams. You guys are going to come up with this. Here's the vision. And then how are we going to implement this? Now they take responsibility. With responsibility comes ownership. And they came up with it. I guarantee you they'll make your vision happen. So awesome. If you're willing to put in the effort, adopting a culture of Kaizen can be a great way to improve your business. I want to kind of give you some additional tips real quick for adopting a culture of Kaizen. Start small. Don't try to change everything overnight. Start with 1 or 2 areas where you can make a quick and easy improvement. I see people do this all the time. They go to a conference, they get all pumped up, and then they change a bunch of shit. And then 2-3 months later, they go to another conference, they get all pumped up, and they change a bunch of shit. 2 or 3 months later, they get all pumped up, they go to another conference, they come back, they change a bunch of stuff. schizophrenic leadership. The vision's all over the place. I like yearly visions. I like big yearly kickoffs. I've told you this before, and I'll tell you it again. If you want to understand this, who cares what they're saying? Whether you believe it or not, it does not matter. Mega church, large, huge church organizations are great at casting vision and getting people together to make sacrifices, to give money, to work for free as a volunteer. Mega church pastors are great at casting vision. That's what they call it, casting vision. Read their books, listen to their leadership lessons. They have a bunch of stuff. If you type in the mega church pastor's name in Google, I like Andy Stanley. He's really balanced. Craig Golshall is another one. And they all have a leadership podcast. There's a lot of them out there. You will learn so much in dealing with people. They have to, because they have volunteers. It's hard. Imagine if you had 5,000 volunteers or 1,000 volunteers, and you got 10, 15, 20,000 people, 50,000 people showing up every week. And you got all kinds of stuff happening all around you. A whole business where you have to keep people inspired to volunteer. You can't pay them. You know how hard that is? Do you know how freaking hard that is? These guys have to be dialed in, making sure that all the levels in the organization is sharing the vision. It's wild, and you need to study it. Like I said, who cares if you're religious or not? Study it. You will learn so much. Be open-minded anyways. We should be able to learn from everyone, right? Even we can learn and understand what not to do and what to do, right? Start small. Only 2 or 3 little things. Make it quick and easy. The vision statement should be like 1 sentence. Narrow it down. Use ChatGPT to help you with your vision statement. Write in, here's a bunch of ideas. Give me 20 vision statements, 1-sentence vision statements. And then tweak it and tweak it and tweak it with ChatGPT. It's free. To go openai.com. Tweak it and tweak it and tweak it till you get the vision statement, that 1 sentence perfect. Then it's time. Throw it on banners. Throw it everywhere. Make cards. Whatever you can do, whatever you can afford, go all out. Have the vision everywhere. Everywhere. Make it visible. When employees see this, they get committed. They will get on board. Share the success and failures with the team. Be transparent about what's happening and what's working, what's not towards the vision. Celebrate successes. When a team achieves a goal, make sure you celebrate. We don't celebrate enough. Be thankful, be grateful, but show it to others. Celebrate. This keeps everyone motivated. It's that simple. And then, guys, don't forget to make it fun. Work should not be a chore. Engage the team. Find ways to make it fun. Have some fun again. Take a couple $100 and hire a clown or get a bunch of balloons or buy a huge cake with the vision on it. So many things you can do for fun. If you have a hard time knowing what fun is, you can Google it. You can type in things to do for fun for employee morale. If you're one of those logical, no fun type people, you can Google it. Google has the answers. You can chat GPT it. There's answers. AI has the answers on this. You can find creative ways. Type in that 10 creative ways for your team. I'm going to have to do a podcast on it. I just came up with a podcast. That's awesome. Guys, I'm going to end. By following these tips, you can create a culture of Kaizen in your business, and it will lead to continuous improvement and amazing, amazing morale.
Thank you for tuning in to the Self-Aware Leader Podcast with host Jason Rigby. We hope this episode has inspired you to unleash your full potential and embrace your inner leadership. By expanding your consciousness, you can transform your mind, body, and soul and become the remarkable leader you were always meant to be. If you found this episode valuable, please share it with your loved ones and help us expand our community. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to having you join us again on the Self-Aware Leader Podcast.